Okay, I'd like to call the City of North Ridgeville Board of Zoning and Building Appeals meeting to order. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge of Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk please take roll?
Members of the board, Kane,
Here.
Smolik.
Here.
Okay, Masterson is excused this evening. Thibodeau,
Here.
Winkle,
Here.
Kimball,
Here.
and members of the administration, Chief Building Official Furzin,
Here,
and Assistant Law Director Morgan.
Here.
Okay, all present.
Thank you. Are there any corrections to the minutes dated April 22nd, 2021? If there's no corrections, the minutes will stand as submitted. Are there any reports to come in front of the board this evening from Planning Commission?
Mr. Chairman, there are no reports at this time.
Thank you. Are there any other reports or correspondence in front of the board? If not, we will move on to the first application. Will the clerk please read the first application?
Okay, applicant Joseph Dankulovic, 34026 Luann Drive, North Ridgeville, Ohio, 44039. Owner is same. Requesting a variance to North Ridgeville Codified Ordinance, Section 1294.03A for a 4-foot, 4-inch side yard requiring an 8-inch variance. Location is 34026 Luann Drive in an R1 district. Permanent parcel number 0700-008-101-077. Building inspector's comments. Section 1294.03A, shed shall be 5 foot from side property line. Applicant requesting 4 foot 4 inches, requiring an 8-inch variance. BZA approval required.
Thank you. Is there a representative with us this evening?
he's on mute.
Oh, I believe the applicant is muted.
Joseph, if you could unmute your microphone, please.
Not yet.
Do you have me now?
We do. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I thought I was live all the time. I apologize.
No problem. Sir, if you could do me a favor and state your name and address, and I'll swear you in for the record.
Yes, my name is Joseph Dankulovic. I reside at 34026 Luann Drive in North Ridgeville.
Thank you. Do you swear or affirm the statements you're about to make in front of this Board of Zoning and Building Appeals for the City of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the penalties of the law of perjury?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Could you please tell us a little bit about your application?
Okay, I could actually, we're on the iPad here now that we're live. Would you like to see the situation live? I can take you outside and show you the shed.
I'm not sure that's necessary just yet.
Okay.
You could tell us a little bit about
Here in November, we had that nasty windstorm that blew through town.
Okay.
What was it? We had like 70 or 80 mile an hour winds, whatever it was when we had that. Anyhow, there was a shed sitting in the same location, actually 2 feet closer to the property line, that had been there for 50 years. We moved into the house in 1985, and it had already been here since the first owner from about, I'm not exactly sure of how many years he was here, but he was, when the house was built in 1967, he probably was here until like 72 because there were 2 other owners after him. Okay. But to my knowledge, there's been a shed in that spot right on the line. And what I did is after we had the storm damage, I actually replaced the shed and made a same size shed, but improved it and moved it over actually 2 feet closer to the house, okay? I did not know I had to have any kind of permit or anything of that nature because I was replacing something that was damaged in the storm that had been there, you know. And when the building inspector came over, you know, to my understanding, I thought it would have been grandfathered for whenever it was, I mean, you know, understand, we've owned the house for 35 years and there was never an issue with us having a shed there. So I actually say to you guys that, you know, when I put this thing together, it was making things better. And I honestly did not have any idea that there was anything else needed to, you know, do something that was there forever.
Thank you. So just to state, you did, when you rebuilt the shed, you moved it even further away from the property line than what originally was positioned, correct?
Correct. I moved it actually 2 feet closer to the house. And one of the reasons I didn't go any closer, okay, you know, you have the 10-foot or the 10 foot that you're supposed to have a shed off of what would be a building. And on my end, I moved it over to where we felt that was comfortable from where the house was versus the property line. Do you understand what I mean? I mean, and here again, if I'd have known that I had to do anything different than that, I actually could have moved it over another 8 inches, but I put it on a concrete pad. And now I would have to pour another like 6-inch extension on the pad that's there to get it to move over that 8 inches.
Sure. Okay. Thank you very much for explaining that. Does the board have any questions for this applicant?
I guess I have one quick question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
It actually goes out to the building commissioner. Is that 10-foot setback off of a structure for a outbuilding? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is correct. All right, thank you.
Just have a quick question. Hear me?
Oh, yes. Go ahead, Neil.
I'm sorry. The neighbor's fence there, I couldn't tell by driving by, but to the plans, is that fence directly on the property line?
Yes, he's right up to our property line or his property line. I have 24 feet, 4 inches from my house to the property line, and his fence is right up to that. He is actually at the very end of his 10-foot-6 that is off of his foundation.
Okay, thank you.
And I would like to note, we did receive a email letter correspondence from a neighbor concerning this application. And I hope everyone had a chance to read it. It was just sent out by Lisa this afternoon because she had just got it, I think, about an hour and a half ago. So that was sent out. So I hope everyone had a chance to take a look at that. Are there any-
Mr. Chairman, I did not
Good
get a
night.
chance to look at that. Could she read it for record?
Sure. Lisa, if you could read it for record, please.
Sure. Okay, this is from Mark Koneski, 34018 Luann Drive. And it says, my name is Mark Koneski. I live at 34018 Luann Drive, and I've been there since 2005 and bought the property in 2006 and became disabled in 2009 from work-related injuries. I've lived in North Ridgeville since I was born in 1970. After buying the property in 2006, I did a lot of property upgrades with proper building permits. That is when a property line dispute began with the Dankulovics, Joseph and Linda, my neighbors to the west at the 34026 residence. Joe and Linda did not want me to extend my driveway because they felt it would block their groundwater from flowing to my property off of their property. Note the natural water flow for this location is east to west, not west to east. Upon my return home from work one night, I caught Joe red-handed moving my concrete forms for my driveway a gate distance from their intended location. I had my guys put them back in the morning. Within hours, Joe and Linda got building inspector Paul Blanchette involved, who strongly suggested, though I was within the building code, I find a way to be a good neighbor so that my project goes better. I took the hint, suggestion, threat, whatever that was. Joe advised he wanted me to shave about a foot off the width of my driveway and for me to put a French drain in from about 15 feet on his property to about 30 feet along and under my driveway. And Paul was okay with that, so I did and absorbed the complete cost myself. In the past, when Joe has made unsubstantiated complaints about whatever I'm doing on my property, I have asked many questions about the property at 34026 Luann Drive that causes property damage to my property, flooding in my yard, some very minor injuries, and some more serious injuries to myself, my family, and visitors, and just a major nuisance. In most cases, I got no answers to my questions. I have attached pictures of some of the issues I have in question. 1, where does the water from their downspout go? 2, are they allowed to build a dirt and mulch dam along the property line to stop the natural flow of water east to west, causing my property to flood, causing my mowers to bow down, get stuck, and the tires to pull up mud trails? 3, why do they have a yellow plastic gas line pipe buried under the mulch that every once in a while washes the mulch away and the end pops out of the ground behind the other shed on the property that is too close to the property line? 4, does the backyard brown have a permit and a variance to be so close to the property line? 5, are there any restrictions on how close to the property line vegetation can be planted? 6, as the property owner who is being encroached upon by said vegetation, am I within my rights to cut down overhanging vegetation or root systems causing damage to my property? 7, does the owner of the growing vegetation have any responsibility for damage, injury, or nuisance their vegetation may cause? 8, do they have the right to put up a temporary snow fence on my property for more than a year? I don't want confrontation. I don't want to argue. I don't want to be victimized due to my physical condition. Though on more than one occasion, Linda has charged over to me on my property, getting within inches of my face, cussing, swearing, and name calling and flicking me off over snow blowing, snow on the grass between our houses or other insignificant things. I do not know what that lady is capable of. I know this sounds petty, but with my disabilities and fixed income, all the debris from the tree, constant fallen branches, nuts, leaves, pollen, catkins, tassels, bird droppings, etc., and most of the year, wet ground makes it almost impossible to maintain my property and keep it looking nice. I don't have the ability or extra money to wash my vehicles, especially as often as they need it, and my concrete is stained, etc. I also know it's not their responsibility to help me stand out, but they don't have to stand there and laugh at me when I fall picking up branches and sticks from their tree or other reasons as they often do. Sorry for the length of this statement, but I would like to let you know the shed and variance in question is too close to my wood fence that I need to maintain for my canine and my privacy. The notice I received for this hearing states that Joe would like an 8-inch variance and that he is 4 foot 4 inches from the property line. I do not know who measured that, but it is severely incorrect. Between their fence and my fence is 18 inches. That is where the property line dispute lies. Their shed is 2 feet, 2 inches from the east side of their fence. I say that's the property line. Even if the 18 inches in dispute were all his, he is only 3 feet, 8 inches. Per the city building permit application I picked up, the outbuilding needs to be 5 feet from the property line. Due to my disabilities, I need the space to maintain my fence. See attached copy of hearing notice, building permit, several pictures. First picture of the shed in question for size reference, the top of the garage seen in picture is approximately 25¼ inches across the way it sits. Several other pictures of the above listed observations. Thank you for your time. Sincerely, Mark Koneski. P.S. How do I get answers to my above concerns? And just for note, there were no pictures attached. I only received the correspondence from him.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just for a point of reference, if the complaints that we just heard, if it's been in a courtroom and in a trial, there had been severe objections because they don't relate to this variance request specifically, at least most of it doesn't. And in a courtroom, and you are a quasi judicial body. So in a courtroom, those would be moved to strike, and I'm sure they would be stricken. Your goal, as you already know, is simply to consider this particular application, this particular 8-inch variance, and only the information that would relate to directly and impact that, not the other information that we received.
Correct. Thank you very much, Jenny. Are there any other questions or comments from any board members? Is there anyone in the audience or on YouTube Live that has any questions or comments?
There is no one at this time.
No other questions or comments from the board. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the variance.
I second.
Clerk, please take roll.
Kane,
Yes.
Smolik,
Yes.
Thibodeau,
Yes.
Kimball.
Yes.
Motion carries with a vote of 4-0.
Okay, sir, we will mail you a signed copy of your variance application within the next few days.
Thank you, sir.
You are all set to go.
Thank you very much, guys. And I'm flabbergasted at what I heard, but that's another thing. And I thank you guys for considering what is actually there.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening, sir.
Take care.
Will the clerk please read the next application?
Applicant Elizabeth Lukachinsky, 5925 West Breezeway Drive, North Ridgeville, Ohio, 44039. Owner same. Requesting a variance to North Ridgeville Codified Ordinance, Section 1294.01H1A for a 4-foot high fence requiring a half-foot variance. Location 5925 West Breezeway Drive in a PCD R1 district. Permanent parcel number 07000320000267. Building inspector's comments. Section 1294.01H1A, fences in residential districts from front line of building to right of way shall be 3.5 feet in height. Applicants requesting 4 foot in height, requiring a half-foot variance. Corner lots have 2 front line of building. BZA approval required.
Thank you. Is there a representative here this evening?
Yes,
Ma'am, if you could state your name and address for the record, and I'll swear you in.
Elizabeth Lukachinsky, 5925 West Breezeway Drive, North Ridgeville.
Thank you. Do you swear or affirm the statements you're about to make in front of this Board of Zoning and Building Appeals for the city of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the penalties of the law of perjury?
Yes.
Thank you. Could you please tell us a little bit about your application?
Okay, we got a dog a couple years ago. I live on a corner lot. I'm right at the corner of Overlook and West Breezeway. My patio happens to be on the side of my house instead of the back. And what I would like to do is have the fence put up around my deck so that I can just let my dog out into the yard.
So just to confirm, your fence will be 4 foot tall, but still have the 50% open for visibility. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I will note that looking at the plot plan, the fence is, it's behind the garage. It's away from the corner. I seriously doubt that the additional 6 inches would be any sort of visual obstruction or safety hazard. So it seems to be well within terms of what we do here. Are there any questions or comments from any board members? Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on behalf of this matter or on YouTube Live?
There's nobody at this time.
If there's no other questions or comments at this time, the chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to accept.
I second.
The clerk, please take roll.
Kane,
Yes.
Smolik,
Yes.
Thibodeau,
Yes.
Kimball.
Yes.
Motion carries with a vote of 4-0.
And ma'am, we will send you a signed copy in the mail within the next few days. And if there's nothing else, you're all set this evening.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on, will the clerk please read the next application?
Applicant Erica Verheyen, 6919 Hatching Way, North Ridgeville, Ohio, 44039. Owner is same. Requesting a variance to North Ridgeville Codified Ordinance, Section 1294.01H1A for a 4-foot high fence requiring a half-foot variance. Location 6919 Hatching Way in a PCD R1 district. Permanent parcel number 0700033122-002. Building inspector's comments. Section 1294.01H1A, fences in residential districts allow 3.5-foot high fence from front line of building to right of way. Corner lots have 2 front line of building. Applicants requesting a 4-foot high fence requiring a half-foot variance. BZA approval required.
Thank you. Do we have a representative here this evening?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening.
Good evening. If you could please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Erica Verheyen. Address is 6919 Hatching Way in North Ridgeville.
Thank you. Do you swear or affirm the statements you're about to make in front of this Board of Zoning and Building Appeals for the City of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the penalties of the law of perjury?
Yes.
Thank you. This seems very familiar, this application. If you could
Well, deja vu.
please tell us a little bit about your application.
We have a corner lot. We have 3 children that I think would be a climb risk. So we want to get as tall of a fence as we can. Wen's Fence has given us an option that I think is not going to be climbable, but is still the 50% visibility. We had 811 come out and do the survey, and the fence would still be about 7 or 8 feet off the sidewalk, I think, which gives us a lot of usable yard, but we still have the 50% visibility fence.
Sure. Well, great. Well, looking at your topo, you as well are your fence is basically as far back from the corner as it possibly could be, or your proposed fence rather. And again, I see no visual obstruction or any sort of safety hazard, and it seems to be a well thought out plan. Are there any questions or comments from any board members? Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak on behalf of this matter or on YouTube Live?
There's nobody at this time.
If there's no other questions or comments, at this time, the chair will entertain a motion.
I move to accept.
I second.
Will the clerk please take roll?
Kane,
Yes.
Smolik,
Yes.
Thibodeau,
Yes.
Kimball.
Yes.
Motion carries with a vote of 4-0.
Okay, thank you for coming out this evening or not coming out, I'm sorry. I've been doing this a long time and I say the same thing for about 15 years now. So, but thanks for joining us on Zoom, and we will mail you a signed copy in the mail in the next few days.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, will the clerk please read the next application?
Applicant Kara McCarthy, 36541 Rummel Mill Drive, North Ridgeville, Ohio, 44039. Owner is same. Requesting variances to North Ridgeville Codified Ordinance, Section 1294.01H1A and Section 1294.01H3 for a 6-foot high fence, 100% closed, requiring a 2.5-foot height variance and a 100% closed variance. Location 36541 Rummel Mill Drive in an R1 district. Permanent parcel number 07000310000222. Building inspector's comments. Section 1294.01H1A and Section 1294.01H3. Fences in residential districts from the front line of building to right of way shall be 3.5-foot high and 50% open. Corner lots have 2 front line of building. Applicants requesting a 6-foot high fence, 100% closed, requiring a 2.5-foot height variance and a 100% closed variance. BZA approval required.
Thank you. Do we have a representative here this evening?
Yes, sir.
If you could please state your name and address, and I'll swear you in for the record.
It's Kara McCarthy, 36541 Rummel Mill Drive, North Ridgeville, Ohio.
Thank you. Do you swear or affirm the statements you're about to make in front of this Board of Zoning and Building Appeals for the City of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the penalties of the law of perjury?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Could you please tell us a little bit about your application?
Sure. So we have 2 young kids under 2. We just recently bought and built a house in the Mill Ridge development. When we had purchased our lot, we bought the lot based on it being one of the larger lots in the development. At that time, we had shared that with the builders, and at no point had they told us that we were not allowed to extend our fence past our house line. If we do not get approved for the variance, we'll lose about 1/3 of our yard. We do have small children, my 2-year-old being hyperactive with a little bit of a developmental disability, requiring a lot of room to run. We're worried about him climbing. And just really for their protection, we're on the corner lot and, if I need to run in the house and grab my baby and he's outside, I want to be able to not worry about, predators walking down the street and seeing him and grabbing him and things like that. Traffic, him running into traffic, things like that. We recently just had an arrest in our backyard, which was a police chase that ended up right in my backyard, which kind of just emphasizes our need for a privacy fence to protect our kids.
Thank you. And looking at your topo, it shows that you have this proposed coming off the rear corner of your house. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And the photocopy here is a little bit blurry. Do you know approximately how far the fence would be from the sidewalk?
15 feet, I believe. $15 feet.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or comments from any board members? Are there any questions or comments from, doesn't appear that there's anyone left in the audience, but the audience or YouTube Live?
Nothing at this time.
If there's nothing at this time, the chair will entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to accept.
Do we have a
Second.
second? Thank you. Will the clerk please take roll?
Kane,
Yes.
Smolik,
Yes.
Thibodeau,
Yes.
Kimball.
Yes.
Motion carries with a vote of 4-0.
Okay, we will send you a signed copy in the mail within the next few days. And other than that, you guys are all set. So thanks for joining us this evening.
Greatly appreciated. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. You guys
Take
have a
care.
good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Is there anything else to come from the board this evening? If there's no other business at this time.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, I have a quick
Oh.
comment.
Yes, please.
I think maybe we should have some further discussion about correspondence and a time limit of when they should be submitted.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what other board members feel about that. I had no idea what that correspondence said in
Hey.
hindsight.
I kind of agree. We should have more notice on correspondence for a meeting. And I think our law director put it best. The only thing that was really in question was the shed. So the rest of it's kind of relevant in this
Yeah,
situation.
that whole email letter essentially came down to one upset neighbor versus another. And it's essentially all hearsay unless there's, actual plot plan or facts. Even when he talks about because I highlighted here, the fence and 18 inches from where the property dispute lies from where he thinks. That's what he thinks. We don't know exactly what it is. So fortunately, Tony was very blunt and clear about how we can only really consider what's on the application. I always hate seeing that, neighbors have, bitter arguments and things like that. And who knows what the actual truth is, but I guarantee there's another side of the story somewhere. But I agree that it would be nice to have correspondence by a set time. I happened to check my email about 30 minutes or so before the meeting and saw the correspondence. So I don't know if this would be above my pay grade, but Tony, could you let us know if there's some sort of ordinance in place or some sort of guideline or even something from Robert Rules of Order that would dictate when the cutoff would be for correspondence?
Well, it's probably something we would do via bylaw. And we would also have to make sure that the public is aware of it. So we could make the rule and then publish it the way we do other things so that everybody's aware of it, put it on the application and or our notifications, that sort of thing. But it's
Sure.
doable, yes.
I agree with James. I think that's something that we should explore.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
the BZA always still has two options. A, you don't have to read the letter if you choose not to. And B, you can always postpone the application to the next meeting if you do want to read it and make a decision based on that letter.
Sure.
Well, yeah, Guy's correct. If it raises concerns that you need to have checked, and I wrote myself a note, it's sort of a question like, do we actually, when they say they need a 6-inch variance or whatever, do we actually go out and check that? Maybe we should, so that we are confident that what we're looking at is accurate as well. Because up until now, I don't know that it comes up very often that anybody raises the question as to whether the application is accurate. But that way we would know for sure that if they're asking for 6 inches or 2 feet or whatever, that we've measured it as well.
In this case, I believe Mr. Blanchett verified that for me.
Thank you.
So I guess, Mr. Chairman, I think maybe, since I brought it up, maybe if people could think about maybe a deadline of when would be appropriate for correspondence, and maybe we could discuss it at our next meeting.
Let's do that. And yeah, I will definitely pursue that because I believe it's a great idea. Because to receive something directly before the meeting and have several members not know what it says,
No idea.
and then to take the time to read a very emotional email, there should be some guideline in place. I agree. And I
should have read your face when you when you're like, don't read it.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. But no, it's important to know because, in this case, it was an emotional email that could be true, could not be, who knows? But it also could have been an email or a correspondence that was just completely full of facts of why an application should or should not be approved. But no, I agree that we should have some sort of cutoff time, even if it's the day of, maybe noon of the day.
That's what I was thinking, noon.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, if I could lend any assistance, and Tony, you can help me out with this too, from a council standpoint, just let me know if there's any assistance I can lend if needed to help make that happen.
Great.
Sure. Once we make some kind of decision of what's an appropriate cutoff time, and we can draft a rule by law and get it accepted, and then we'll make sure that the public's aware of it as well.
I guess, Councilman, how do you feel about that? I mean,
I agree with the comments being made because I was also unaware of that letter. And then it started when it was starting to be read, I was like, oh boy. And sometimes, as Guy pointed out, certain letters, we can probably, pass until, if it's important information or if it's something that's a lot of hearsay, maybe it's not read at all because it's for the best interest of everybody. Not that we're going to keep it from anybody, but, in this instance, it didn't, most of it, like Tony said, didn't have to do with this application whatsoever. So anyways, I agree that having a little bit more time, I would think would have been, helpful for everyone.
I hadn't seen it either or heard it.
Yeah, I heard it live with you then, Tony.
One last thought, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
If you decide on a cutoff time for correspondence, when we send out notification to the adjacent property owners, you might put that in the notification so that they can't say no one ever told them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very good. That's a very good comment.
Okay, well, if it's okay.
Just to make a quick comment, can I comment really quick? I'm sorry.
Sure,
This is
please.
Lisa. I know that, I believe the mayor and the assistant clerk of council, Sherry, were also trying to discuss the whole cutoff time point because they wanted it to be universal across all the different boards and council and
Oh.
everything. This literally just came up today, yesterday maybe. So I'll definitely be in touch with all of you, or Sherry, we'll send an email out. Also, I'll talk to Tony tomorrow and we'll definitely keep you guys posted. I believe the understanding was it wanted to be, whatever it ends up being, it should be universal across all the boards and commissions and council.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Great sense.
And I apologize for getting that over to you guys so late. I walked in and it was there, and if you guys were in person, I would have handed it to you. So I know that it's hard checking emails, right before, so.
This isn't, in addition to BZA, there's other, it makes sense to have a uniform across the board. We've had other, I've had other experiences myself in other committees where it'd be nice to have a little more heads up. So no, it makes sense. It really does. And you get it when you get it. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, very good. Well, let's definitely pursue that. And Tony, I'll reach out to you possibly tomorrow and we could see what we could have to, maybe we could get that process started and all the other boards and council can follow along with it and have a universal plan.
Sure.
Okay. Well, perfect. All right. Well, if there's no other business at this time, the chair will entertain a motion. I'm sorry. The chair will make a motion to adjourn, all those signified by aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry. It's been a long day today.
Me too, I get it.
All right. We'll see everybody next month.
Have a
Good
good
night.
week.